guys know I love Doran videos. I love a little bit of speculation. There's also some lore speculation on Doran's side. Let's check out what he has to say. We'll talk a little bit about it, and you know, discuss. Why not? Let me pause this and play this. Let's do
Most
this.
recently, a fifth old god was over officially confirmed, and a new 10.0.7 data mine document talks about what the Titans had been hiding and of a place that lies beyond the waves. Now, one of the oldest speculations is in regards to this dark side of Azeroth where sailors go to a place of no return. We know the Titans have employed various cloaking mechanisms over the years to hide entire zones, with most recently the obvious Dragon Isles, and apparently they couldn't contain and reshape the planet as we had previously believed and as we were previously told. So what is this place that lies beyond the waves? Could this be Avaloran, or could we be near the discovery
Beyond
of
the
a
waves?
remnant of the ancient Azeroth blend?
But could this be the underground area that we just talked about? Could this be the underground patch, you know, beneath the waves? Or is it beyond the waves? I don't know. But it could be. I think if there's another side to Azeroth, this could be like an opening to a WoW 2 land. I mean, a massive continent on the other side of the planet. To me, that's a chance for a complete, you know, new, I don't know, new WoW, I guess.
Black Empire on the dark side of the planet. Right now, Gamivo has some amazing sales,
Oh, we
which you
got
can
our
check
ad.
out with my link
There
in
you
the
go.
description.
There you
You
go.
can get The Witcher, anything Warcraft related, gift cards, and a bunch of games at really amazing prices. Best of
hate
all, if you use
Vegemite.
my code Doron, you can add an additional discount as well. So make
so
sure to
tempted to
click
try
link
it,
in
but I
the
really don't
description
know how
and
good
check
it
out
is.
Gamivo and get some really great deals. As you may be aware,
Awful
in
stuff.
10.0.7 in Forbidden Reach, a crazy new document was data mined. It is essentially the same Titan lore of the old gods and the creation of Azeroth back from Vanilla, but
1080p
this
and
one
shit.
is annotated by some type of an old god being for Neltharian's private library that we still don't really know who this person is. You can check out all the pages, I've covered it in the previous video. One of the biggest news is that it could be the official confirmation that a fifth old god exists. However, in
Right,
this
we talked
video,
about
I
that
wanted
yesterday.
to really deep dive into possibly the most interesting one, and that is the page that talks about this supposed what lies beyond the waves, which could obviously be a heavy hint for a new
Wait,
continent
is it
that
beyond
we
the
yet to
waves or
discover,
beneath? Hold on.
possibly, which could
That which lies beyond the waves. So that does sound more like an island than the underground area we were just talking about. I'm not
obviously
sure.
be a heavy hint for a new continent that we are yet to discover, possibly old god related. If you guys
It's
keep
a world
playing
of
WoW, and
islands.
I'm
We
guessing
have
most
so
of
many
you
islands
have
at
for
this
a
point in
long
this
time,
game.
you might know that the supposed other side of Azeroth is one of the biggest and one of the oldest speculations that we've had pretty much since Vanilla. There were
Yeah.
hints that a place exists that is not yet seen on
like
the
the
map,
dark
and
side of
how
the moon.
ships
That shit's
go
always
to one
existed.
side of the planet, but they disappeared, which hinted that there is some sort of a dark side of Azeroth that we know nothing about, that no one goes there, and anyone that visits it is unable to return, so he's unable to say anything. People have speculated this to be the next
take
expansion
your
for the
Vegemite
longest
tips.
time, and Blizzard sort of did a half thing by introducing some of these hidden isles. However, with this new lore, this might be right back on the table. So do not go crazy in speculations and history, let us just dig deep into this document and see what it says exactly. The Titans empowered a number of races to help them fashion the world, to help them carve out the fathomless caverns beneath the earth. The Titans created a dwarf-like earthen from magical living stone, to help them dredge out the seas and lift the land from
Curse
the
of Flesh
seafloor. The
changed us to what
Titans
we are
created
today.
the immense but gentle sea giants. For many ages, the Titans moved and shaped the earth until at last there remained one perfect continent. Now, the note that is scribbled on the
Perfection.
page says, the author of this tome is either a fool or a liar. Were they truly so ignorant of that which lies beyond the waves? Or were they merely commanded to spread Titan propaganda? So let's really dig deep into this to see what
Interesting.
they're trying to say. To give some further context, one of the first pages talks about how the Pantheon fought and chained 5 evil gods far beneath the world, and how they banished the elementals into their own plane. The note on that page says, fools, the powers of the elements was not so easily contained, nor could they bind the influence of the old gods. The peace the Titans offered came only through oppression. Now,
I mean,
obviously,
he's essentially saying that everything the old gods tried to do didn't work, and they're idiots for ever believing it worked. That's nice. Double failure.
This heavily hints that it is very likely that the old god prisons and the elemental prisons are not exactly what we think they are. Now, my first thought when I read this Beyond the Waves was N'Zoth, because we know his prison was beneath the sea, and
that's what I was
N'Zoth
thinking. I was
is
thinking
currently
Beyond the
super
Waves
relevant
means
to
under the
Dragonflight
ocean.
with Brand New Whispers that Steve the Noozer personally wrote. However, I really don't think they would use the word beyond inviting in this exact contest. Beyond means more like after you pass the waves. While for N'Zoth, they
I would
would
think
definitely
beneath
be
the
talking
waves.
about underneath the waves, beneath the waves. If this was in regards to some hidden
Doran and I are
empire
connected on this
N'Zoth
one.
built under the sea that we are yet to discover.
Under
Now, a
the
second
sea.
interesting other point it is that people think this refers to the Dragon Isles, and I gotta say, this does make some sense. When we look at the original map of Order of Azeroth from the Chronicle, the Dragon Isles were not there. They were hidden from our knowledge, and it was confirmed that they were isles back when Azeroth was one continent. If this was written for common mortals, they might not have wanted them to know about the Dragon Isles, but I really don't see why this would be a huge note in Altarion's book. I mean, you guys have been to the Dragon Isles. You can see they are Dragon Isles with a dragon civilization on it. Titan facilities are here.
Why did the Dragon Isles have to be hidden? I wonder, like, what was the point of hiding it? There's some ultimate power here that we don't know about yet.
Definitely not something that is hidden in any way beyond the waves. Plus,
they didn't want us coming and eating the dragon eggs or something?
A ton of mortals also live there, like Centaur apparently.
Yeah, there's even mortals already here.
Somewhere else. I really don't see why they would be hiding this, or why this would be some sort of a
really,
secret,
that whole
storyline
doesn't make sense yet.
Found right on the Dragon Isle. So in my
dragons
opinion,
are smart
this
and hide.
more than likely either.
Well, if the dragons were in essence watching us, the reason why they'd want to hide from us is because we kill every single dragon we ever see in this game. Look what we've hung dragon heads from our capital cities. We kill dragons all the time for loot. We skin them, we mount them, we eat them, we fuck them. If I were a dragon, I'd want to hide too.
Refers to a
the last one doesn't happen in the game. It's more of like you got to search for that on the internet, but don't do that while I'm streaming.
Dark side of Azeroth, a new zone or a new continent. This entire document talks about how the Titans found this mess of a world that was the Black Empire, just evil. They defeated the old gods, then they created massive beings that would work like machines, and they would
humans
shape
are trash,
seas, shape rivers, mountains, and all the terrain in order to create Azeroth as it is. We have the last page of the document that kind of goes hand in hand with this. As twilight fell on the final day of their labors, the Titans named the continent Kalimdor, land of eternal starlight.
There it is.
The note on this says,
nice
the
name.
Titans finally erased the wonders that once existed. They even stole away the last true name and replaced it with one of their own. Now, the obvious fact that the guy writing this is obviously, Titan biased and old god affiliated aside, this strongly indicates that the Titans not only significantly reshaped the land and made huge structural changes to it, but they also completely renamed the place as well. Now, the thing is, though, I don't think this was actually technically fully possible, and the Titans didn't want us to know that fact. The old gods have kinda dug themselves permanently, and not all of Azeroth was probably moldable. We know they purposefully hid us when we learned that the Well of Eternity was a wound that the Titans created, but they kinda played it off that this was just a lake of energies that existed. Even one of the pages in this document references this. This is also why the old gods weren't just outright eliminated, but instead, they had to be imprisoned. As we had recently learned, they tried to learn about the nature and the decay magic and just how the old gods work, and they ended up creating a Hoon, and they realized this.
Well, I also thought that they tried to do, eliminate the old gods. I mean, you had essentially, I forgot which Titan it was, rip one out of the planet, and it almost destroyed the planet, right? The Azeroth as a whole almost fucking fell apart. So they realized that the old gods, like tendrils and shit, had already been so massively intertwined with Azeroth that they couldn't simply destroy them. So instead, they imprisoned them. That was the lore that I remember. Maybe that shit's been retconned.
Just impossible to get rid of these guys. So if we go by this logic, why do we think they were able to restructure the entire land?
Thanks, Kevin.
What if instead there was
it's
a
fun
part
to
of the
lore,
Black
talk about the
Empire
lore.
that was not moldable?
What sword?
They just had to be hidden away. There was nothing else they could do. In fact, we know that there are multiple cloaking mechanisms, and we can see this on multiple occasions where entire continents were hidden.
Just covered in mist.
Recently, the Dragon Isles. So by the current lore, it is 100% plausible that they hid this part of of the Black
Achilles.
Empire, as they couldn't
Achilles.
actually
I can't
shape
believe
it.
you're
In fact,
awake, man.
This could maybe even be the prison or the place where we
It's
might
really early
discover
for
this
you.
fifth evil
Welcome
we
in.
just recently learned about. This also ties in perfectly with the
It's
theory of how
4:30 for you,
ships
man.
go
Oh my
and
God.
disappear on one side of Azeroth. They might have reached this place and were just drawn in by the magical cloaking mechanism. Now, one of the theories is that this could be
I
the
agree.
newly introduced,
For sure.
newly learned zone called Avaloran. Most recently, we learned that a group of Titan forged rebel for an unknown reason, and the Titan Keepers sent multiple expeditions to unsuccessfully bring them in line, and as far as we know, they are just dug in somewhere. It is possible that, much like Miltarion, who was a Titan minion, so did these guys, learned about this, decided they no longer want to partake in this hiding and this entire Titan ploy. Now, of course, it is entirely possible also.
Look, I mean, the Titans, it seems like everybody who learns the truth leaves the Titans, right? They rebel. Now, we have the curse of flesh, right? We were stone made by the Titans, and then all of a sudden you get the curse of... By we, I mean a lot of the races of Azeroth, not trolls, or anyone who originated from them. But we were, we were cursed by the old gods, and now the Titans themselves did think about just wiping the entire planet out. Remember the re-origination chamber and all that shit? They thought about doing it for a while. Rather than have races walk around, with free will and the ability to learn the truth and shit, they contemplated just wiping the entire planet's surface clean. That's the way they think. That's some fucked up shit. So yeah, they don't like rebellion. They don't like free thinkers.
The Avaloran could be an underground zone that we might be going to soon. However, at the moment, if this really is a new continent or a new zone, I feel like either it is going to be content for dragonflight or for the next expansion, and at the moment, both options actually seem very likely. So, as you may know by the roadmap, we are supposed to get 2 new zones in dragonflight. Seeing that we essentially explored the entirety of the Dragon Isles, you can kind of
they were gonna
guess
kill
what
us all.
this can be. One of the biggest hints that was once again recently confirmed is that we're supposed to go somewhere underground in the next patch. However, there should be one more zone in 10.2, which could literally be this hidden place that we might learn about from Deathwing's private library. On the other hand, this could be the Dark Side of Azeroth expansion, and it could be a very natural transition from Dragonflight to the next expansion. As you might know, Blizzard recently said they want expansions to add onto one another instead of having one thread every single expansion, so it is entirely possible we learn about this, we discover a way to remove.
We've been doing that since Mists of Pandaria. Ever since Mists of Pandaria, where you had Garrosh get imprisoned and then leave and all that shit. Every expansion since then has just kind of followed a storyline that's seamless, that continues on from one to another. Whereas when you had, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and Cataclysm, all those expansions were just, we're chilling, we're jerking off in an inn, and all of a sudden a new entity pops up, and now we got to deal with this shit. That's how the old expansion storylines went. But then at Mist, they switched over to storylines that just continue from expansion to expansion.
This cloaking mechanism, and finally we find a way into this hidden dark side of Azeroth. So this could be a short-term setup for a patch or a long-term setup for the next expansion. However, I do think if there really is a lot more to this beyond the waves than a simple line in a book, this could just open a whole set of new possibilities. We could discover primordial Azeroth and what it really was like in the past. We could discover a fifth old god. We could discover just a whole bunch of crazy
I think the fifth old god shit is coming too.
Into some really interesting places. Thank you for watching. Check out all the pages in the info by clicking on the screen, and check out Academy for videos of real world history. See you next time.
That's some good stuff. I love that lore speculation. I love to sit there and think and talk, chat. I think it's good stuff, and definitely the Titan lore and all that stuff is. I mean, it's already playing a big role in this, but who knows where it could take us. Underground, I certainly think so. I think that's where we're going to solve the whole Black Dragon storyline. Pick Rathian because Sibelian is actually still corrupted and he's a bitch. We're gonna pick Rathian. He's gonna be the new leader of the Black Dragon flight, and then we're gonna go on to whatever happens next. That's how I see these patches playing out.